Okay, so tell me who you are and what you do.
Okay, I'm Yelena. I'm the creator of Ballet for All, and I'm a ballet teacher.
Okay, so ballet teacher, and where are you right now?
I'm in China. I'm from Cuba, but I'm in China, living and working at the moment.
Wow, amazing. So, how in the world did a Cuban ballerina end up in China?
Okay, so I just got a job offer to dance in China, and I didn't think twice. I said, yes, sure. I have no idea what I was going to be. I just knew that was China. I was gonna dance, doing what I love. So I said, yes, why not?
Okay, so you say you had no idea where you were going to be. What do you mean?
Well, that was 2014, and we didn't have any internet in Cuba, so I couldn't even Google where we were going. That's not a thing in Cuba, although it wasn't at the time. So they said China. I knew that was a country. I said, yes, that's it.
So you got onto a plane and you didn't even know where you were going in China other than China.
Yeah, sounds ridiculous, but it's true. I signed a contract just at the airport. They gave me my passport at the airport, and I took a plane and I went to China with a company of 20 dancers just to dance in China.
Incredible. Okay, so you were obviously dancing in Cuba before that.
Yeah.
How long had you been dancing for in Cuba?
I graduated in 2011, so I've been dancing for 3 years before coming to China. That's it. Yeah.
How did you learn ballet?
I did 8 years of professional dancing, learning to dance for 8 years, which is divided in 5 years in my province, which will prepare me for the next 3 years to the National Ballet School. Obviously, I had to do a test to go from the vocational school to the national school, which was a huge deal. But yeah, for 8 years, I trained professionally from Monday to Friday since I can remember.
Wow, so you trained Monday to Friday, so you didn't go to a normal school. The school was, how did the school day work?
Okay, yeah, so our school was designed once we passed the test to go to dance, because you just don't decide to go to the national school like that. You need to pass a test. That school will be prepared for me to learn from Spanish, English, French, math, science, biology, and on top of that, we divide the next part of the day with ballet class, repertoire. We will have conditioning, flexibility, strength classes, even French. We learn music, history of dance, all that.
Wow, so I've never heard of anything like this. Basically, from a really young age, they selected you based on your physical and mental ability.
Yeah.
And then trained you specifically to be a dancer.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Once I decided I want to be a dancer, you just go to that school. We learn all this, the scholar part, but the focus, the main part was the dancing part, which we will do on top of the normal modules that any student would do in the schools. And it was really, really stressful and demanding. Something else that I did though is, once I was in the National Ballet School, the first year we trained as a professional dancers, basically everything, the variations, performance on the stage, but my other 2 years were dedicated to be a professional teacher. They choose us, like 20 of us out of 40. We were not good enough at dancing, so we had to start teaching. That's the reality. Just like that. Yeah, just like that. Final 2 years of the national school, we were moved to focus more on the professional teaching side of the career. So basically, at that point, I started learning the methodology of teaching ballet. And at the end of the National Ballet School, I graduated with a title that said Professional Dancer and Professional Ballet Teacher.
Wow, that's a pretty high qualification. But have you done any more studies since then?
Well, once I arrived to China, I realized that the Royal Academy of Dance was really worldwide known. And I was like, well, if I want to be a great teacher, I better keep studying. And I did a diploma with them, a diploma in dance teaching studies. And at this point, I'm doing a BA, a bachelor degree in dance teaching studies, which is really hard and really difficult. And I have to do it in English, and I learn English in China. So So I don't have academic English, which makes everything really difficult for me.
Just said to me that you learnt English in China, of all places?
Yes.
And do you speak other languages as well?
So when I arrived to China, we went to a very little island. They didn't speak Spanish. I didn't speak English. So I had to learn Chinese first, which by no means I'm a perfect Chinese speaker, not at all, but I can communicate enough. I can read some Chinese. I cannot write. I wish I could, but no. I was in the middle. No one spoke Spanish and I couldn't speak any other language, so I have to learn to communicate with the foreigners, but also to communicate with the locals. So I learned English and Chinese in China.
Speak some Chinese for me.
你好，我是Yelena，我是芭蕾舞老师，很高兴认识你。
I think some of your followers wrote you some questions. What do you got?
Okay, so I would love to hear more about your training in Cuba. Did you train under Alicia Alonso? And I didn't train under her because at the point I was studying, she was just basically training dancers at the professional ballet company, not the ballet school. But I did get to meet her and Fernando Alonso, which is an amazing, he was an amazing teacher. He was a lovely person. He was quite old, and I will always remember he used to go up the stairs every 2 steps, like going 2 steps at a time, really quick, and all the students were running with him. And every time we see him in the middle of the hall, we will stop and we would do like a ballet reverence to him. And that was like super cute because he was like a child, but he's a very important person, and at the same time lovely but respectful. It was really exciting to be in the National Ballet School, definitely.
And there's something you didn't say before is, so the National Ballet Academy, that's in Havana?
Oh yeah, so the National Ballet School is in Havana, it's in the whole Havana. Have you ever been to Havana? Whoever is watching this video have been to Havana and have seen my school. I hope that you comment down below. I would love to know because it's such a huge building. It was built in 1901, so really old, lovely, but it's still well restored and well preserved, and an amazing school. Seriously, it's worth watching. Try to find some videos here in YouTube. For sure you will find the school inside and outside.
Okay, great. Okay, so what else was she asking?
If I like to dance salsa, I do love to dance salsa, but because I trained ballet for so long, I'm not really good with salsa music. I don't get the rhythm. I get all left behind the rhythm. I just listen piano, no rumba salsa. But I do love dancing salsa. I enjoy dancing salsa because it's on my veins and in my blood, but I'm not really good at it. So I have another question from Renee, which is asking, hello, Miss Yelena, which ballet performance did you participate in? Since I'm 8 years old, I participated in Nutcracker, Sleeping Beauty, is the name in English? Yes, Sleeping Beauty. I never had the pleasure to participate in Arlequinade, which I love that ballet, and I saw it for first time in Sydney the other day in person. After I graduated, I didn't continue to the National Ballet Companies. We were doing a Broadway show, an amazing experience. I never done something like that before, and jumping from classical ballet to Broadway, it was a mind-blowing experience. Okay, so another question from Fatima. Hi, teacher Yelena. I have 3 questions for you. First, what are the things that every ballerina needs, or in another way, what parts of the body need to be flexible? How can this be achieved? Well, flexibility definitely is really good for a dancer, but this is not the most important thing that a ballerina needs to be looking for. You need to be looking for strength, you need to be confident, you need to have aptitude, so you need to dance, you need to enjoy it. I think that overall, you really need to love what you're doing if you want to be a ballerina. And how to achieve this? Flexibility and strength, but a lot of training. Dancing, but just really engaging with what you're doing. Just enjoy the whole time. Don't do anything because you just have to do it. Do it because you want to. And that's it. That's basically what I recommend. Another question. What is the appropriate age and weight to practice ballet? The weight, that's very relative. As long as you feel comfortable with your body and you feel comfortable with your weight and you can do the ballet without injuring yourself, that's not a limitation. Age is very related to your own possibilities if you can start early, but if you want to be, I have seen so many adults starting to dance at the age of 40 and 50 and then can still do it safely and enjoy the dance. So that's it. And the last question, how many time does it take to learn it? So how long to learn ballet and how many hours can I play a day? You can train once a week and you will see some improvement, but not really. If you train to 3 times a week, you will see a really good improvement. You will dedicate more time to your technique, to your coordination, musicality, and you will see more out of 3 days a week rather than just 1. However, be careful, don't overdo it, don't overwork, because then you can get really tired. Just feel your body, listen to your body, and do according to the time that you have and what your body really can receive. And now, my last question. Hi, Yelena. What are your thoughts on demi-pointe or pre-pointe shoes? Some teachers said that they are great transition shoes between slippers and pointe, while others say they are a waste of money. So I presume that you refer to the demi-pointe, which are not the slippers really soft, but they are not really strong and really hard as the pointe shoes. To me, those demi-pointe shoes are perfect transition, as you said, between demi-pointe and pointe, because they are great to work on the strength and control of those ankles. Once you start working on releve in those demi-points, it's harder than doing it on the slippers. Therefore, you're working more control, you're working with more strength, you're working with more precision, so that you can jump with a little bit more readiness and confidence back to the pointe shoes. So I hope that answered your questions, and that's it. Anything else?
Who's that beside you?
Oh, this is Ivy. This is my doggie. We found her in China when she was 4 weeks old, and it was raining and cold, so we couldn't leave her on the streets, and now she's ours. Okay, everyone, so thank you very much for all of your questions. I really hope that you got to know me better. If you still have more questions, I'm more than welcome to answer them all, so leave comments down below. If you have been to Havana, if you've been to my school, and you have seen how gorgeous is my city, my country, and my school, let me know. I always love reading off your comments. See you next time.